You are listening to the Girl Talk podcast. My name is Carol.
This is Alicia.
I'm Tricia.
And we are so glad you are here today. We are tackling a very, very
Sticky. I say sticky.
uncomfortable, all those things.
Yeah.
Topic. Humility versus insecurity. Okay, Tricia, since you got us into this,
Yeah, you got to
it's all you, babe.
Explain a little.
All right. Okay, what is humility? What do you think of when I say humility? What's humility? Go ahead. Let's hear your best answers.
Like I don't really know. Like
You're supposed to say, oh, no, I really don't have a good answer.
like I have humility. Like I am kind and nice and not prideful.
Not
and,
prideful. Okay. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I think of a servant's heart, servant attitude. You know,
yes.
when you're
One who serves.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, this has been a topic that I have had on my mind forever because, now, you know how much I love my mom, right? I love my mom. I think she struggled with insecurity. And as I grew up, I always listened to the way she talked about herself, the way she talked about her cooking, the way she talked about her amazing ability at art. She just kind of poo-pooed it. And I grew up listening to that and equating that with being a good Christian. You know, and at some point it hit me as she was saying something about herself that wasn't positive, and more than that, it wasn't even true about her skills in some area. I thought, well, I said, Mom, why do you say that? You know, why are you saying that about yourself? And she said, well, I don't want to be prideful. And so I realized that there's like, for good Christian people, there's, I think, some gray area between what is humility and what is insecurity and what does God want us to think about ourselves.
Well, that's interesting because I've seen her artwork and it's amazing. So it's shocking to me that she would be negative about her skill and talent. I mean, her artwork is amazing.
She would always say, that's not my best. I know. I'm still working on it. And she just, there was never anything that she would go, this is good. I'm
or just
happy
like
with this.
Be like, yes, I'm proud of this. But is that the thing? Like, can you say that?
But it's not just your mom. I think we all do that.
Oh yeah,
like to some extent. Like if
everybody does.
If somebody
especially
pays
women.
if somebody pays you a compliment, you're like, well, you know,
it only cost me $5.
have you lost weight? Yeah, I love that dress. I got it at the consignment shop.
Yeah.
Or
don't want to me.
Have you lost weight? Yeah, but I got a long way to go. You know, I mean, we do all those things.
Oh, I have a terrible habit. Somebody compliments me, I will excuse it away so much that they literally run away screaming. They're like, why did I ever say anything? Because I will just negativize, is that even a word? Whatever they said and whatever the intent of it is, I will turn it around to be an insult somehow. It's a skill, but it's not a good skill.
But and that's where I think we have to be careful, because if you do that with compliments, people will stop complimenting you because it makes them uncomfortable. Like, I'm going to say, Tricia, your hair looks lovely. And if you say, oh, no, or this thing's sticking up, or do you really mean that?
Are you saying that because of the thing? Or
no, it looks good.
Okay.
But then next
Carol's
time,
looking like, no, it doesn't.
But then next time I'm not going to say anything because I'm like, she's going to turn this into a thing. And then it's going to be like, why didn't you know? Or like a weight loss is a great example.
Yes.
It's like, well, why didn't they notice it earlier? Or how come they're just saying something
That is
now?
frustrating if you're trying to lose weight. I mean, you lose like 5 pounds and you feel like you've lost
and
5
no one
pounds
says anything.
and
and
nobody
it's like,
says a word. I remember talking to you about that.
We talked about that.
Well, and that's that tricky area, though, where you don't want to say anything because what if they haven't lost weight? And then, then you make them feel bad.
Stomach bug. Right. No, but you're right. I think things
does.
like that can be very tricky. It's awkward to say it in a way that feels right, that feels good.
I'm just sitting here thinking about this. Insecurity, to me, seems like a different league than humility. Insecurity, to me, seems like it has to, it's tied to my identity somehow.
It's like, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
That's what I think of.
But humility is like, I feel like that's a God word. Humility is like a God word for me because when I think humility, I never think of somebody outside a relationship with God. Like, I can't even think of anybody who I would say,
interesting.
Who I would say, I truly think exhibits humility aside from God. I don't know. I mean,
that's a God-given trait.
Maybe. I'm sitting here thinking.
Is that because you're being humble and that is a more of a God trait of trying, because no one is going, oh, Jesus is the only perfect person, so we're all humble to, or should be humble to some level, knowing that we can't be. You strive to be like him, but no one's ever going to be Jesus.
Yes. That's really powerful. Yes, you guys are like unlocking something for me. I think that I've held in a lot of time. Yeah, seriously,
because that compliment very well.
You did do the. And you look lovely. Both of you do, by the way. But here's the thing.
Thank you.
You can't really be humble apart from God in a sense, because true humility is realizing that we are sinners, that we are not clean on our own. And the only way that we can do anything really worthwhile, and the only way we can be what we need to be worthwhile, is through Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. And, you don't get that message apart from the church. You get the message from the self-help books that you are enough, and you just, pick up those britches and pull them up and go out there and do it. No. Humility is where it's at, because that's understanding our place in relation to God. Wow, that's
But
big.
can you still be secure and say, you know what, thank you. I appreciate that. I feel good about myself because I've lost weight. Or thank you for complimenting my skill because, yes, I've worked very hard at it. And
I think there's nothing wrong with that.
How do you get to that level? Because I think there's an opposite tendency where some people think they're too good.
Too good, yeah.
And I think a lot of times we don't want to be that person. And so then you negate.
Go the opposite direction.
Yes. And so where's the line of, it's okay, I think as women, we need to be at a certain point where we can accept compliments and realize we're good at certain things.
Pause right there. Because compliments are tied to usually my appearance.
Oh. Yeah.
For women.
A lot of them are.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot
of them
are.
Which has nothing to do with my identity.
Right.
Humility has everything to do with my identity. And I think we've tried to make insecurity our identity. It's not.
Right.
Insecurity has to do with usually our situation or our physical something.
Appearance or achievement.
Or something that we've done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But even that doesn't change who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how I see it play in my life.
Yeah.
So I have been very convicted, and I don't know whether it's because of the culture that we're living in, because I don't think I do this, and y'all tell me if I do. I would expect that from you. But people are so nasty right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like nasty about things you don't even need to be nasty about. And so I was in the car. No, I was in the grocery store the other day, and I'm walking out of the car. It is pouring down rain, okay? Pouring down rain. And I doing the lazy load. I'm trying to carry 68 bags of groceries. I don't know why I do that. But anyway, so I've got my 68 bags of groceries. I'm headed out to the car, and there's this woman who is in a car who, instead of letting me cross and get to my car, pulls out in front of me so that I'm in this pouring down rain.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I was like, thanks for seeing me over here, and I was like, okay, no, I need to change that. Maybe she's on the way somewhere very important. Maybe she's got something going on. And I prayed for her.
That's good. That's very hard to do in a moment like that.
Yes, especially for somebody like me who wants to kick her in the shins. Like, stop, you're in a car and you're dry, and I've got 68 bags of groceries.
It does help, I think, when you can get to the other perspective. If you're not happy with somebody else, I think if you can think, what's going on in their life that you don't know?
And
there probably is something.
I will tell you the other day. Yeah. Well, that was exactly the other situation.
It really helped.
I was on the way home from work, and there was this car darting in and out of traffic, in and out of traffic. And I was like, oh, my goodness, they're going to hurt somebody if they don't. And so I was behind them. I pulled off the interstate. They turned the same way I did, and they pulled into the entrance to the hospital.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
And I was like, I've been there where I've darted in and out of traffic, and I've been trying to make my way to the hospital.
Well, we've all just been in a hurry, like not even anything wrong, So
you're late for a meeting or
somebody
your
kidney
issue.
You never know what the person is going through.
But it's all about perspective and taking that quick moment to say, wait a minute.
Yep.
But we all come up with our own judgments about where they are and what they're doing, and we want to tell them that they need to go back to driver's ed and revoke their license, and they get their license out of a cereal box and all those things. But we do not know the other part of the story, which is
that's it. That's the difference
powerful.
between humility and security, I think, is what you. So I've heard it said. What is it? It's like. Humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. And that's what you did in that moment. Instead of you thinking, I'm here getting wet in the rain, you thought to yourself, she may have an urgent need. So instead of thinking about your situation in that moment, you thought about her situation in that moment.
Well, and
that's a big deal.
Well, it was. And so what? I mean, I got wet.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I dried.
You look very well and dried right now. You look great.
I mean, it's not like that was like
the rest of your life.
It was an inconvenience. It wasn't even that big of a deal. It wasn't like she ran over my toe on the way out.
But the perspective of you thinking about her, not you, that's the biggest piece of it. And it's almost a relief when we can do that.
Yeah. Well, my way back when we chose a word, y'all remember that? Way back.
I was thinking about that the other day.
Were you?
Yeah.
So I totally botched my word like in the first 3 days because mine was devote. Mine was devote yourself to prayer. I've done terrible at that, but I will say this: it has made me more mindful of situations in my life where I need to pray before I need to say anything, and that's been one of those situations in the car, and like that was God saying, "Oh, they're turning into the hospital. Pray before you say, or pray before you post, or pray before you." I mean, there's been a controversy going on, and somebody texted me even this morning and said, because of what happened, I wanted to get on social media and I wanted to post of just lambasting this other person for saying this about a teacher that I love, and it was all this like, and she said, but I needed to say stop, and I need to think, and I needed to understand that I don't know the rest of the story, and I just needed to stop. And I think we've forgotten how to stop, and I think we've forgotten how to think about what we're thinking about, and we just let our thoughts and our emotions run wild, and then we get on social media and tell everybody about it, you know?
Yeah.
And then everybody else jumps in.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody
and they're always encouraging you. Yeah, she should have stopped. She should have, but did Christ ever do that? No, he didn't. Do you ever see somebody going, hey, that was a pretty cool miracle, and him going, well, it wasn't my best one. No, you never see that, I mean, him turning the water into wine and somebody tasting it and going, hey, this is pretty good wine. He was like, yeah, but I did a Chardonnay last week. I mean, it's just not that kind of, he is our example. And
he's our identity.
He is our identity. And what did he do? He found ways to bow down lower.
Yeah.
When people came against him and beat him and smacked him and plucked out his beard, he did not open his mouth. I keep going back to that. He did not open it. He had every right to, every reason to, and he did not open his mouth. What makes me think that I need to open mine?
Yeah.
Which is hard for me because my mouth tends to fly open just on its own, And I'd say all the time, that's how I know I'm saved, because what goes through my mind and doesn't come out my mouth is a miracle. It's a miracle. But I think there's a sense there that humility is not something that we strive for. I think it's a gift when we get our identity in line.
Yeah, yeah.
And insecurity, I think, is for me anyway, when I start feeling the most insecure, it's when my identity's out of line.
Absolutely. 100%. Our priorities and our identity out of line. Love that song, Who You Say I Am. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it. We are not how we look. We're not how we achieved or didn't achieve the last goal. We are who God says we are.
Yeah. And we got to stop going like, when it comes to compliments, we got to stop saying, well, have you lost weight? Yeah, well, I can really tell it in your face. It's not because your face was so huge. Quit going there, because that's not what they're saying.
They're trying to say you look lovely.
Understanding here today, they're saying, I recognize this in you. And could this not be your identity? Could it just be a compliment? And you say thank you and move on.
Yeah.
Feel good.
Yeah. And feel good that someone noticed.
Right.
Can we stop doing that, please?
Let's start today.
Okay.
Okay.
I say that's a good deal. Man, this is a really good topic, and I have a feeling we're going to get in some good discussion on the Facebook page.
Yes.
So
hope so.
We're going to post some prompts for you. You may even use them as like journal prompts. I know a lot of times I ask myself hard questions, and I go right for a while about what I'm feeling about that. So if you use them that way, if you want to, but they're there on the Facebook page so you can discuss and see what other people think. And we're always interested to know what you think. You can always email us at girltalk@thelightfm.org. So find your identity in Christ. And then that humility will come. You won't have to work for it anymore. But if you see that insecurity popping up, it might be because your identity's out of line. Just think about that today. We love you. Thank you so much for listening to the Girl Talk podcast. And we'll see you next time we gather right around these microphones.